Okay. I want to say it's working.
I mean, it looks like it's working.
Thank God. Anyways. Oh.
Yeah.
Long time no
Well.
see again. Is seemingly a theme. Although technically speaking, everything goes well. I already know what next episode is going to be, so we'll see. But hello. Welcome to the pod.
Hello.
Again. After all this time. After all these years.
I was on a boat last week.
It's true. You can recap some of that before we go into details about things, but this is a 2-week-long weekly obsession.
Oh boy, okay.
I'll go first. And to be honest, I don't know if it's necessarily been a weekly obsession specifically with like one thing, but it's not music, surprisingly. It's me trying to run games on my new computer. Basically, me either running games that I could run on my old computer, but running them on this one, and seeing how much better it is in comparison, and or if there are any issues that I had before. Which I have found. Some games just do be like that. Some games do just have issues. But
yeah.
other games, I'm like, oh my gosh, I can actually hear it. It's not making my ears bleed. Because I recently, again, for like the third time in the past year, started playing Cyberpunk 2077 again.
Oh boy.
Because an issue that I was consistently having on my old computer, I could run Cyberpunk and it was working. But when I would drive in a car, and sometimes in a motorcycle, but mostly in a car, I would encounter this audio issue, like the sound drivers not being able to catch up to what was going on because there's so much happening, like moving really fast through an environment that it's loading a bunch of stuff. And it would start like crackling in my ear like popcorn. It wasn't a pleasant experience. And literally the first thing that I tested, because it's in one of the first missions where you're like in a car and you have this shootout with this random person. I know, totally normal. But you have this shootout with this random, like these people in this car that's ramming you. And I remember when I used to play that, because it's like in the intro bit, I couldn't hear anything. It would just be so loud and unintelligible, and I would just be trying to shoot them to get it over with so I wouldn't have to keep hearing that. And I played it recently, and that didn't happen at all, and I was so surprised, but also I was like, if it still did happen, I would be kind of pissed, considering the difference in material now. But yeah, that on top of like Marvel Rivals, Overwatch, all that stuff, even like No Man's Sky, I feel like I've just been able to play games with having less issues performance-wise, which is nice. And so I've just been downloading a bunch of different games that I've had. Like, honestly, one of the main ones that I could probably download next, that I could have run on my old one, I just never got around to it, is Goat Simulator. Because believe it or not, that game is extremely intensive on your CPU. And I don't know why. I'm assuming it's because it's not very optimized. But I feel like I could run it on this computer pretty well. So yeah, that's basically what I've been doing.
Simulator stream coming soon.
No, I would maybe stream Cyberpunk or like another game, but I would not stream Goat Simulator because what, you don't really do anything in that.
What year is it?
You're just a goat. But yeah, so I've basically just been doing that for the past couple of weeks. Go.
I'm trying to think, because I don't think I've really had an obsession these past few weeks. I mean, I've been in a mode. I've been in like celebration, festive mode.
I mean, you can be obsessed with Christmas.
I would not say I'm obsessed.
What do you hate about Christmas?
I never said I hated it either.
I can hear the hate in your voice, the malice.
Those are two sides of the spectrum, and they're not applicable here.
I can hear the malice in your voice.
No. Because I went on the cruise.
She did go on a cruise.
So, 2 weeks ago was my birthday. Woohoo.
Wow, you sounded so happy.
Woo. And we left for the cruise on my birthday. And obviously the cruise is all in Christmassy kind of things. There wasn't really any Christmas like celebrations, but there's a lot of Christmas decorations.
It was a Christmas themed cruise?
No. There was a lot of Christmas decorations. But there was not like any Christmas themed events or anything.
Mm-hmm.
And then when we got back on Sunday, I went to go celebrate we went to go celebrate birthday and Christmases at my great aunt's place with my dad and stepmom and brother.
Which I love.
And great aunt, obviously. And then it's just been a week. And there hasn't really been much else, honestly. I've been at work the past 4 days. And we had breakfast with Santa yesterday at work.
Yeah, what was that about? Was he there the entire time? Was he just there for a set time?
He was there for the entirety of the breakfast with Santa, yeah.
And people came.
He didn't actually eat breakfast with anyone.
He didn't eat.
No, he sat in a chair. He sat in a chair and people could take pictures with him.
So he was forced to sit down while people ate around him?
No, he was not in the same area where they were eating.
Then could you really call it breakfast with Santa?
Yeah, not really, no. But that's what it was called.
Was it mainly just like families with kids there?
Yeah, there were some people who just came for the breakfast and didn't care about Santa.
Was it free breakfast?
Yeah, it was free breakfast.
There you go.
They had Donut King donuts there.
I mean, yeah, they would be the best ones in the area.
It was not apparently very well planned because my boss was like running out to Publix to try and get stuff last minute. People were trying to make fruit cups last minute because they ran out of food. It had like 200 people.
Well, if you don't have an RSVP system and it's like the clubhouse of the did they RSVP?
Yes. We had a list of registered guests. we had a list of registered guests, and as people came in, they had to get a ticket so they could go through like where they were doing the breakfast line.
And at the
So
same
yeah,
time,
no, it was entirely a planning issue. We gave them the information.
at the same time, it's like that clubhouse is like the clubhouse for multiple different communities underneath that entire branching thing. So I feel like a lot of people were about to show up.
Well, yeah, but then it's like, why didn't you prepare better? Like, dear God, they were ordering decorations and things a week before the event. And it's like, why would you do that? Why would you not order sooner? It was, yeah. It was a time.
But you did get a picture with Santa.
I did get a picture with Santa.
Was he a good
I said
Santa?
if he played the part well in the sense that he looked like Santa.
I feel like that's like the least of the worries when it comes to Santa lookalikes, though. Like if you fail that, you kind of can't be Santa in the first place.
It's true. I don't know if he was the one who lives here though. If he's the one who lives in the community.
You have a
Because
Santa
when
that lives in your neighborhood?
there is someone who does like the Santa stuff. In the community. Because I've met him. I've helped him with stuff before.
Quote unquote does the Santa stuff.
I mean, he was doing, when I met him, he was doing Santa for Christmas in July stuff.
Okay. I didn't realize
So
that was a thing that people
It
actually
is.
did.
And so he gave us his business card to be Santa if we needed a Santa for breakfast with Santa.
And you didn't go with him.
I think we went with the previous Santa we've used in previous years. But he lives in the community and he looks like Santa. Literally, before I knew he did Santa stuff, I saw him and I was like, Santa? It was a very weird experience.
It would make sense that of all places a Santa would retire here.
Yeah. Get away from the cold and everything.
I mean, it's been cold the past couple so
Yeah,
like
but I mean-
random and dispersed days.
It's been warming up though.
Tiny.
Again.
but I think it's supposed to get colder during the later part of this week too, because it's gonna
I hope
rain.
so.
Yeah, it says it rains Tuesday, Wednesday, and then about Saturday through Monday, it's slightly colder. But then Tuesday it starts warming up again, so it's not gonna be cold for Christmas.
Wow.
That dream, forever a dream. It's fine.
Things I have now, and that's partially why I say I've still been in kind of the entire mode of Christmas and birthdays and stuff, is because I've been setting up stuff that I got for birthday and Christmas, and that includes the air fryer that I still need to set up.
Oh, I thought you
and-
would have set it up.
I'm probably setting it up tonight, after the pod, so I can make something to eat. Unless
be
I have
that
noodles, we'll
hard.
see. It should no. I think it's literally just plugging it in. But I also already set up my Alexa. So no, I'm not talking to you.
You're joining Faye in that aspect. I don't
I
understand
am. But I did it specifically in my room. Partially because I asked Yoshi if she would use it at all, and she said no. And partially because I think it would be very funny if we're doing stuff on the pod and we're trying to figure out information, and then I could just ask Alexa.
Yeah, but now I have a second screen where I can just Google things.
But that's not as funny.
But it still works.
Yeah, but it's not the point.
At the same time,
I like using it for timers,
which again, just set a timer on your phone.
but it's not as easy.
It actually is. It really is.
For my phone, it is not.
Oh my god.
You don't know how my phone does timers.
I didn't
it's
realize there was
stupid.
such a different way to do timers.
I didn't either until I got this phone, and I hate it.
Hi, Janine.
But I also use it to like pick random numbers for things.
You have dice for that.
I know, but sometimes I have weird numbers on you to pick it from.
I don't understand. I don't think I could ever have, no, well, that too, but I don't think I could ever have like a thing, whether it be Alexa or like one of those Google things in my room, because I don't want it ever listening to me talk to myself.
I don't care.
It could hold things against me.
Honestly, one of the things I was looking at is that it's called Skills. It's basically apps for Alexa, where it'll transcribe everything you're saying, so you can basically just talk to yourself and then it'll take notes for you.
I mean, is that necessary? Just write it down.
Sometimes it's
The robots
easier.
are taking over. Okay.
It's also a speaker, to be fair. It's also a speaker, which is nice.
That would be the only thing I would use it for. And even then, barely.
I've used it to listen to stuff while like I've been sleeping. I have my daily alarm set on it so that it'll wake me up, and then once I dismiss it, it'll tell me the weather outside and then some news, and it helps me wake up.
Would you say it's frightful?
Sometimes it did say like, oh, it's Friday the 13th. Here's some spooky stuff.
No, that's not what okay. I was trying.
I know what you were saying.
But it was supposed to be. Never mind. See, you hate Christmas.
I don't.
What it is. Anyways, so you still never actually said though. Weekly obsession.
I don't have one.
Pick one.
I can't think. I mean, for the past 24 hours, my obsession has been the new D&D campaign that I started.
But didn't you start that before?
I mean, we kind of started. We did a session 0 type thing, where we figured out why everyone is in the same area and how we got together, and we made our characters and stuff like that.
Together.
But yesterday was our actual session 1, where we actually started, and it was a lot of fun. Our DM is awesome.
You're kissing your DM?
No.
Okay, well, that's what you did, but so then sure, just say that.
The end.
But also, I want to know more about the cruise, specifically.
So, first, I'm gonna sound like a pretentious fuck.
I mean,
But
is it that far off?
it is. I would not call myself a pretentious fuck. Also, Shinny, that one kind of just tapered off, and the group just never talks anymore. So it just hasn't happened.
It has a lot of stuff going on.
But so I want everyone to keep in mind that I did not pay for this cruise.
But she is
I did not pay for any of the
pretentious fuck.
packages on this cruise. So I am grateful I got to go on this cruise. I'm grateful that I was able to have this experience. However, compared to like the past few years that I've gone on the same type of cruise, this one was definitely the worst experience out of all of them.
This cruise wasn't as fancy as my other cruises.
Compared to last year, this cruise was nothing. Because last year we went
Clearly
on...
it wasn't nothing. You were still on a boat. Like,
Well, yeah. Last year, the boat we went on was a newer boat, and it was with also the cruise line that we had been going with up to that point. And it had a whole park in it. It was fantastic. It was so pretty. It was so cool. They did the full show of Mamma Mia.
damn.
It was fantastic. And you don't usually get like full shows on cruises.
Because tiny boat, you know?
They're not tiny.
It's a dinghy.
It is not. but it was really, really good. And then, and we also, I was used to stuff how that cruise line worked. However, this year we went on a cruise line that was different, and it was technically more expensive, apparently. And so the initial thing, it was a cruise to the Bahamas, and I'm convinced most major cruise lines at this point own an island somewhere in the Bahamas, because they all have a stop in their own island in the Bahamas that has like its own beach and everything. It's because both Royal Caribbean and MSC had one.
I mean, I'd imagine that's a decent way for the Bahamas themselves to make a lot of money.
Probably. But my dad and I, because I went with my dad, because technically it was his cruise.
He owned the boat.
Because it was from his company that we were able to go onto this boat. And I was his +1. And we don't get off the boat anymore. We did, I think, the first year or two that we went, but we haven't gotten off the boat since, because that's sometimes extra money if we did excursions, which my dad has a lot of anxiety when it comes to traveling out of country, so he would, and it's also just a hassle because you also have to get up earlier, you have to make sure you're back on the boat at a certain time. It's just ugh. But stretching, hold on. You have to have a passport, especially if you want to get off the boat. Yeah, because you're going out of the country, you need a passport. And so we are going through the entire check-in process, and we give the first person our passports. I was like, okay, cool, we're led onto the boat, but before we can really go in, we're on the boat, but we can't really go into the boat yet because they have to check our boarding passes. And this lady checks our boarding passes and they're wrong, they're messed up. I'm not in this, my boarding pass doesn't have me there. I'm not entirely sure what was going on, but that's kind of what I got from it. And so the lady sent us to this table on the side and to have it fixed. And so this guy's at this table and he wants our passport so he can fix it. And we give him our passport, and we notice that he is going into what is basically my profile for this cruise, and he's making every
for you?
Yeah, and he's he's replacing all of my information with Dad's, and now Dad has 2 profiles basically. And so then what this guy does is then he goes to Dad's original thing and makes it all my things. So I guess it's fixed, but now it's switched. Our boarding passes are switched from what they initially were. And so we're like, okay, we're at least on the boat. I hadn't eaten anything that day other than a single Starbucks drink I had at like 10 a.m.
You ate that?
Well, I had a cake pop with it.
Those
but then
things
I drank
give me
the drink.
diarrhea.
Well,
I don't know what they
thanks
put
for
in them, but those things mess me up.
it was my birthday. I had a free drink, so I got a cake pop with it. And I mean, and I already finished it at this point. It had been at least an hour, maybe an hour and a half since I had finished that drink. But I hadn't eaten anything that day. And by now I think it's like 3 or so. And the boat's supposed to take off at 5, I think. I'm pretty sure it's supposed to leave port at 5. Or 4:45, either one. And we go to find our room and grab our ID card, the cards for our room. Basically, there are ID cards, kind of. And that's how we pay for stuff on the boat. that is like that. It's just how you get around with stuff.
This feels more like a post-apocalyptic world where you're like, you have been profiled by the boat and you now have to access things with your key card. It's like you're stranded in the middle of nowhere. I mean, you kind of are.
We kind of are, yeah. But we got our cards, and first we had to figure out how the fucking light switches work, which is its own ordeal. But then we're trying to log into the internet, because part of the thing that we got this year was we got a drink package and we got an internet package. And we're trying to log into the internet, and we need to scan the barcode that's on our little cards. And whenever I scan mine, it brings up my dad's name. Whenever dad scans his, it brings up my name. Because, our boarding passes are switched and they are linked to our cards. So now it's kind of getting complicated because...
Can't you just switch passes with each other?
No, because the way that they're printed, they have our names on them too. So
Okay.
Mine says my name, but then when you scan it, it says my dad's name. So it's all mixed up. But so we're like, okay, let's go get this fixed at the guest services area. And we go to the guest services. We have to wait in line for a while because there are people who are also trying to get their stuff fixed. And I'm starving. We've been standing in lines nonstop for the past 2 hours, and I'm starving.
Sounds like a time at Disney.
And I had to drive us as well, from the Central Orlando area to Cape Canaveral. Not Cape Canaveral, Port Canaveral. It's in Cape Canaveral though. And so we finally do it, and they're saying like, oh, it's not. Your genders are the only things that are switched, but she gets us new cards anyways, and it's fixed, and we're like, woohoo! And I'm like, let's go get something to eat. Dad wants to go do the safety instruction thing that we have to do, because the thing that's also different on this cruise line versus our old cruise line is our old cruise line, we had to do something called a muster call.
A what?
A muster call, which is basically when you're on a boat like this, you are assigned a station for if there is an emergency and you have to evacuate the boat.
It really is like you're on a spaceship.
Yes, it is. And so the muster call is when everyone meets at their station, and then they give you a safety briefing on what to do in case of emergency. And on this boat, we had to still go to our station, but all we had to do was scan our cards, and then we had to watch a safety video on the TV in our cabin and like dial a number to let them know we watched it, and that was our entire safety thing. So I'm like, let's go eat something first, because the buffet is going to close at 4. And I'm a fast eater. So I was like, let's go do that, and then let's go do the safety briefing. The way the elevators are set up on this boat are also different, and they're not good. Because instead of like a normal elevator where you get in and then you press what floor you want to go to, you have to press what floor you want to go to before you get in. It assigns you an elevator, and then you have to wait for that elevator. And when there's a bunch of people going up and down, getting on the boat and stuff like that, it takes fucking forever. And it got to the point where let's just see if we can climb up to that floor. We got on an elevator that was going up to floor 12. So the buffet is on floor 16. We get on an elevator that stops at 12. We get off at 12 and we start climbing the stairs. I'm weak because
I know you're
I haven't eaten anything. That too. But I haven't eaten anything. So I'm even more like, I feel like I'm gonna pass out if I have to keep climbing these stairs. We get up to like floor 15. And they do an announcement and they say if you have not gone to do like scan your cards at your station, you need to go do that now before 3:45. And it's like 3:35, 3:40 when they do this announcement. And I'm like, I'm about to start crying because I'm like, I just want something to eat, but now we have to go back down to deck 7. And I'm like, if I have to go down these stairs, I'm going to fall because my legs are going to give out underneath me.
We could just roll you, you know?
Dad did suggest one time. But so we sit there for 20 minutes waiting for this elevator. It's past that 3:45 mark, but it's like we'll get there when we get there at this point. And we eventually get to deck 7 and we scan our cards, and by then it is 4 p.m. and the buffet is closed. So we learned the other crucial difference in this on this boat is that this boat does not have any snack bars like our old cruise line did. Our old cruise line would have places constantly open that gave complimentary food, like whether it was like a little sandwich at a deli type of thing, or if it was a pizza, or even just having like some fruit out. They always had something that you could go and eat. This place did not, unless you wanted to pay for a specialty restaurant, which we were not going to do. Or they only had sit down places. They didn't have anything where you could just grab and go. And so we are sitting. Listen, this is why I said I'm gonna sound like a pretentious piece of shit.
Because she's been on so many cruises at this point.
I have been on quite a few. And so we're sitting in one of the lounges that I thought would have some food.
Nay.
Nay. And I'm drinking a Coke and sitting there, and I'm like, okay, well, things aren't gonna open up until 6, so I'm just gonna have to wait. And I waited until 6 to get any food in my body. And that was kind of, we didn't really have issues with food after that because
you knew the
by
times.
the time we knew the times, and also by the time we were doing any of this stuff, it was a case of like we eat enough and then we don't have an issue waiting. I will say, as far as food goes, it wasn't bad food. It was cruise food. Some of it's fancy, some of it isn't. They had 2 different kinds of pizza. They had a Chicago and like a normal type of pizza, and I didn't like the Chicago that much. I like the normal type of pizza though.
I mean, I doubted you would like the Chicago pizza.
It wasn't bad. It just wasn't my favorite. I had a few sodas because they were free with our drink package. I had like 2 margaritas, and they tasted like nothing. They didn't taste like alcohol. They didn't taste like lime. It was just cold. That's all it was.
I mean, it's cheaper when you don't put that much booze in it.
Yeah. But then Dad was getting drinks, and he thought they were stronger than what he would get normally.
Maybe they just saw your face. They were like, I don't think she could.
They never asked me how old I was, so.
Well, I assume it's in your profile.
I would hope so, but I don't know. We went to some shows. Most of the shows were good. I have my own little issues with them, simply from a musical and
dear God, now
sound
really
production side. But that isn't criticizing the cruise. That is criticizing the sound team or the performer. The dancers, phenomenal. The choreographs, pieces and everything from them, absolutely great. I had no complaints about those. It was there were things from a theater perspective that I didn't like. But that is me being like a type of thing, and I'll admit that. However, the seats, very narrow. Me and Dad joked a lot that if you weren't rich and skinny, this wasn't a cruise for you. Because that's also the main complaint we had about the bathroom in our cabin. We're used to cruise bathrooms being small. so they can fit in more people, obviously. But this one was so tiny. The shower was god awful, where I could not, no matter how I turned, a part of my body was always touching the wall,
The dream.
and it was awful. It was really hard to take a shower. They did have some cool areas. Everything was based around New York. So they had
Weird.
like this little little Statue of Liberty in the casino and everything.
It was Hide themed.
I went to I did a karaoke one night. At a very cool looking bar. Trying to think. Oh, I got a deep tissue massage for the first time, and it was very nice.
I don't know if I could ever do something like that though. Were you like
What, a massage or a
naked?
deep tissue massage? I had my underwear on.
But you were like just in a towel?
I mean, the way every massage I've gotten, it has been a case of
You've
they
gotten
leave.
multiple?
Yes, I've had a few massages now.
Okay, never mind, Hide. Sarah might be the more bougie one comparative to you.
I got a massage last year, and then, honestly, one of the first things I did with some of my first paychecks was get some massages at a local massage place.
Wow.
Because I was doing band, I was working retail and walking around a lot. I had been waiting to get these massages once I turned 18.
You're not poor, but I'm just saying Sarah has more bougie aspects.
I've had more bougie experiences. I don't get massages regularly. Let me make that clear. I've just had a
3
few.
times a month. Mm-hmm.
No. So every massage I've gotten, it has always been a case of there is like kind of this blanket that is put over the table, and they ask you to strip down as much as you're comfortable. I've taken off like my bra and stuff, but I've never taken off my underwear. And then they ask you to get on the table underneath the blanket. Whether you're facing up or down is based on who's massaging you. So
I would not be able to face up either. That would be so awkward.
So it's a case of so for this instance, I was facing downwards to start with, and they pull out the parts of your body that they are massaging at the time.
They pull them out of you?
No, out of from underneath the towel
Oh dear God.
or the blanket
Give me
or
your
whatever.
left tit real quick. I
No,
need
they
to
don't
get a
massage your
massage.
tits.
I'm sure there's a massage out there.
I mean, probably. For all the massages I've gotten, they have never massaged the front part of my torso. It has always been, they've done the back, and like they will, from the times I've had it, they will pull the blanket back and they will tuck part of it into your, like, the underwear is what they've done before.
Interesting.
To keep it in place. And then when you have to turn over, they will lift up the blanket for you and block their line of sight so you can turn over easier. And then they will do the same thing where they pull out the parts of, they will uncover, how about that? They will uncover the parts of your body. They will uncover the parts of your body that they are massaging.
They'll pull out. When you get a massage, don't you like it when they pull out?
And so I have a few things, like, one thing I always tell, when masseuse, what's the plural of masseuse? Is it
like-
masseuse?
I thought it was masseur.
Monsieur? Maybe.
No, not monsieur. You're saying it like
Monsieur.
the French people.
Masseur? That sounds like manure.
Hold on.
Um,
Ask Alexa. This is your time
Alexa.
to shine.
what's the plural of masseuse?
To an Alexa Answers contributor. The plural of masseuse is masseuses.
It is
That sounds
masseuses.
stupid.
Does.
Masseuses.
Every masseuse.
Masseuses. Oh dear God.
I've told all of my masseuses. I can't handle I can't handle the smell of oranges.
Wait, what? Hold on. Wait. What?
So they use different masseuses might have like set up their areas differently. Usually it's always some sort of dim lighting, always some sort of calm ambiance in the background, whether it be music or like nature sounds or something. But then they also will use oils.
Oh,
And
as they
so
pull out.
sometimes they ask you what kind of scents you like or don't like or don't mind.
And you're like, I hate orange.
I say I can't handle orange smells. I also tell them I can't really stand people touching my feet because I've gotten a lot better over the years, but I remember my first time getting a massage, I nearly kicked them in the face.
Yeah, that's about right.
However, this time, I think this time this masseuse took it as a don't touch my feet for too long, so they didn't really.
I thought you were gonna say they took it as
I-
a threat, and so they started holding your feet down.
So they didn't really touch my feet that much at first, but this was one of those times where it's like I really need my feet massaged because they hurt like hell. Because this was 2 days after I went on the first walk with you, and my calves were also killing me. So, she starts giving me this scalp massage for a little bit, and I it's nice, and I've never gotten like a scalp massage while getting like a massage like this. But I asked her like, hey, I know I said my feet are sensitive, but can you massage them a little bit more because they hurt? And she did, and it was fine. There was times where it was like, but it was still fine. And if it starts hurting, you can also obviously tell them, hey, that pressure is a bit too much. Can you lighten it up?
So I'd imagine if you're like, ow, they might react differently.
Yeah. Well, and this masseuse specifically always was asking me how the pressure was, because I did say I've never had a deep tissue massage before. I've had sweet massages, but I haven't had a deep tissue massage, and those notoriously hurt a bit more.
They're supposed to work
but-
it out.
For the most part, it was fine. Like there were parts that really hurt, but it was like that good kind of hurt because it was like, okay, it feels better. The thing with spas on cruises, is that they will sell you stuff, and they will sell you stuff hard.
I feel like this is still your fault for being like,
Well,
yeah.
Last cruise, yes. Last cruise, they tried
You
to sell
got
me a lot of
something
stuff.
last time too?
We're not gonna talk about
Oh
it.
my gosh.
It was worse. It was worse, but we're not gonna talk about it. They
gave
tried
me
to sell me a lot of
orange
stuff.
scented air freshener. It
No,
was
they-
the worst thing.
On my last cruise, they were trying to sell me various things for like my face and my skin and all that stuff. This time, the lady was so smooth about. Honestly, I'm impressed because it was just like bing bang bong. Okay, you bought something. Now I'm like, what? I did? Because she's saying like, there's a lotion that is specifically for your legs if they're sore. It's a cooling lotion, and it'll be really good for my legs when they're sore. $65. Okay, you good? And a lot of people on cruises, a lot of staff on cruises speak sometimes very limited English, or they have very thick accents. And I'm getting out of the massage haze, as I call it, and so I'm like, yeah, okay, sure. And I don't realize what's happening. And to be fair, that's better than, like I said, previous things.
What previous thing?
We don't talk about it. We don't talk about it.
You sold.
And I did get a free gift this time though,
I
because
don't
they
think that
also
makes
threw
up
in
for it.
they threw in this like little milk cream thing from like milk cream moisturizer or something like that. I can't
Wow. Milk
called.
cream for when they pull out.
Okay. But yeah. That was my cruise experience. I don't think there's anything other than having to wake up and like get off the boat.
Get off the boat.
I hate disembarkation.
Why? What makes it so bad?
You have to wake up. You have to stand in lines again. You have to wake up super fucking early. You have to stand in a bunch of lines while lugging around luggage.
Yeah, it's like getting out of a hotel room.
But the hotel room, you don't have to wait for like an hour for an elevator that's going to be crowded with people
Well, no, the
that are
elevator
all
thing that
also
you
trying
said,
to
that's
leave at
weird.
the same fucking time.
Because I don't understand the point of an elevator that has all the buttons on the outside like that.
Yeah, no, it was bad. It was not good. We did do trivia sometimes. And we did a few trivias, and one of the trivias was really weird. It was they played a section of a song, and then we had to guess like what kind of song it was, like salsa or tango or rock or pop. Like we had to guess the genre, and it was like that's not what we were expecting. We thought it was like guess like name the song type thing. It was not. This cruise was also obsessed with Michael Jackson. There was 3 separate song quizzes where all of them were Michael Jackson themed.
Well,
It was fascinating.
I would say that has to do with New York, but it really doesn't. So.
It really doesn't. So yeah, and we won. Me, Dad, and then 2 people we were teamed up with won Pictionary.
What did
Woohoo.
you win?
We won a drawstring bag
Wow.
that says MSC on it.
Wow. Is that
Yeah.
where you store your lotion that you paid $65 for?
Well, I paid. In the end, I did. To be fair, I don't know if it was because I bought the lotion or because of something else, but I had a discount from the massage. So, in the end, I paid the amount I thought I was gonna pay.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Tell me about the other thing that you got coerced into buying.
no, I don't want to. Not on stream, especially.
What is that? What does that mean?
I don't want to be judged.
Oh dear God.
Ashamed.
Oh well.
All I will say is I spent less than $500.
Wait. I don't even know what you could get in a spa that would be that much. Oh,
I
did
mean,
you
for
buy
instance-
a table? Like, what?
No. For instance, more often than not, the massages on cruises, even the cheap ones, are still gonna cost you probably around $150 to $170. And they take an automatic gratuity often, or they ask you for a gratuity. I would like to point out that the massages I've gotten off cruises are not that expensive.
Huh.
They're like usually like maybe $80 without gratuity, which is still expensive, but like comparatively, it's not that much.
A likely story.
And the ones on massages are like usually 50-minute massages, and you can pay more to do like a 90-minute massage. And the $80 that I pay on land in places is usually for a 60-minute massage. So.
Even so, I don't know if I could ever. Even if you're not full naked, even being in your underwear, that's just I don't need someone touching me like that.
Personally, I mean, I was a little self-conscious, I think, the first time, but after like the second or third, I'm like, it just feels good.
Well, it's not even necessarily the self-conscious part because you're covered up by a blanket anyways. It's more the, I don't know, you like that way you gotta touch me. I would be very opposed to just random people that I don't know touching me, you know?
It's also a case of if they try anything or they do something. If they do something I don't like, I can tell them and they should stop. And if they don't, then
Please.
I can easily get up and also, complain about it. So.
I think the closest I've ever gotten, funnily enough, is the thing that you said you had never gotten before, where back when I used to get like my hair professionally done, the occasional times, probably like 4 or 5 times at this point in my life. It's been a long time since the last one anyways. But whenever we would do that, typically it involved like bleaching because my hair would either be semi or fully like just natural colored hair. So it'd be the whole bleaching process, the shampooing, all that stuff. And typically he would like give scalp massages while the washing out the shampoo and everything.
When I got my hair done last time, I did specifically ask for a scalp massage because I was like, they have an option for that. And when booking the appointment, is that you could get a scalp massage when they were doing like the shampoo and stuff, and it's nice.
Well, that's the thing. It's not, the feeling's nice, but then at least in my scenario, the water was like freezing cold.
Okay, I did not have that experience.
So it was like a mix of like, oh, this feels nice, and oh, I have hypothermia. Like it was very back
Do
and
you
forth.
fall asleep when you're getting your hair cut?
No, I don't, because honestly, I feel like I'm automatically in trying to deal with strangers mode when I go to get my hair cut.
I almost fall asleep when I'm getting my hair cut, and also when I'm at the dentist.
That's more embarrassing. 'Cause I feel like with the dentist, you kind of have to be aware so that you can move things around if they need to look other places.
I mean, as long as I keep my mouth open, it's usually fine. It's, I don't know why, it's like the vibrations near my head just make it.
Don't say it like that.
I know it sounds weird, but that's all I can say. There is something I like to listen to sometimes when I fall asleep.
Oh no.
And
is it dentist ASMR?
no, it's not. But it is sub ASMR.
Hide, what questions
on.
are they asking you? I feel like at most when I go to the dentist, like, because it's typically the same dental hygienist that like does your yearly appointments or something, or at least for me it is, it's typically the same woman. So we'll like talk about like what's been going on, or we'll just like have some small talk about stuff that's been going on recently in terms of like around here, like if it's cold or something. And that's it. Like they don't ask me specific questions related to like, have you been brushing, have you been flossing?
I listen sometimes to stuff from this YouTube channel specifically, but this type of thing, I guess they call it hair play. I call it like sensation massage, where they have like sensory brushes, or they use this like the soft bristled brush and like they rub along your back, or they do like chopsticks and run it through your scalp and stuff like that. I want that so badly. I don't know how to find a place that does it, but I really want to find a place that does it and get one.
You get a chopstick run through your hair?
Partially, yes.
Well, just ask
That's only an aspect of it.
Yoshi. Can you come in and put a chopstick through my hair? And she'll say, why? I don't understand. Also, okay, maybe it's just because me. Hide, do you have like sensitive teeth? Because I feel like I am someone that at this current moment does not have very sensitive teeth. And so typically people don't need to ask me like, does this hurt or not? Because I can typically just go through it. And the only thing that makes me slightly like when it happens is like, you know, when they use like that hook to scrape things.
I don't like that.
But it's not just that. Like, it's obviously the kind of the sensation of it being on your teeth is kind of iffy to me. But
it's the sound.
I've had something where, because it's a hook, so like the end of it is kind of like sharpish. I've had it to where it is like completely bumped into my gums before.
Yeah.
And it hurts really bad, but just for a second, but it's like a really bad pain for a second. And so you just kind of have to like recover from a mental blow, essentially.
Have you ever had to have your teeth ground down?
No.
I've had to have my teeth ground down. It's an awful sensation,
Why?
and it's made that one specific tooth very sensitive right at the tip.
Why did you need that to happen?
When I don't know if you heard about it or remember it, but you know the place that you and Yoshi call the scary apartment that I used to live at.
Yeah.
So that's where I learned to ride a bike,
Okay.
and I would ride my bike a bunch in that area. And one day I fell off my bike, and I chipped my tooth.
Like mother, like
And
daughter.
not the same thing.
Not the
hers was
extreme
far-
same thing.
This was far worse. And my tooth stayed chipped until after I got my braces off. After I got my braces off, since the point of braces is to make your teeth look uniform and straight and everything, one thing they did at the end of it is they ground down the chipped tooth to make it even.
At
But
the
then they ground-
orthodontist?
Yes. And it was because it's my two front teeth. It was one of my front teeth that got chipped. So they ground down that one to be flat. And then they ground down the one that didn't get chipped so it matched the other one. And even talking about it now, it's like, ugh. But we're pretty sure they did something and it hit a nerve. And now, if I do certain things or like I chew the wrong way or anything, and the very tip of that tooth gets hit or something like that, it hurts like hell. I don't know if it would hurt. I don't know if the hurt's the right word. It doesn't feel nice. It feels really bad.
I don't know if I would have trusted an orthodontist to do something like that. Like, I probably...
No, they were gonna even do it. They just started doing it.
I mean, to be fair, I do remember... Not obviously the same thing, but it was reversed, where, like, when I first got my braces, and they talked about stuff with me of, like, things that they probably were gonna need to do and everything, but you know how you're still a child, and you're like, huh? You don't
Yeah.
necessarily know what's going on. Because I remember what they did. One of the things that I needed is because I had an issue where I had the potential of my top teeth biting off my bottom teeth. And so they needed to put in like this guard of sorts where my bottom teeth could rest on and my top teeth wouldn't be able to fully go down.
Do you mean like your top teeth were knocking the brackets off of your bottom teeth?
Like if I were to bite fully down at that current point, it would have a potential to do that. Like it would potentially, like if I bit down fully hard enough, I could probably bite off the bottom brackets, which they didn't want. So
Obviously, yeah.
they installed like this weird top mouth guard thing. It was an overbite, but it wasn't like to the point where they thought they needed to do a lot of big rewiring connections and everything. So they put in this like retainer, essentially, this retainer on the top bit that attached to two molars on the top of my mouth, and there was like metal bars on the roof of my mouth that went into this like pallet thing that sat behind my front teeth, where my bottom teeth could go and my top teeth couldn't go beyond, so that it would like safely work and it wouldn't have potential of getting bit off or anything. But I wasn't aware that that was gonna happen. And so I remember there was a lot of things that happened when I first got my braces, but I like was so depressed because I wasn't aware that was gonna happen. It makes you, because it literally puts something in your mouth that isn't supposed to be there, it makes you have to talk differently, because otherwise I would have a lisp. Like I had to change where I was placing my S sounds in order to not have a lisp. And I remember it made me so upset too, because it wasn't perfectly fitting to the top of my mouth. So if I had anything like food wise that wasn't like a solid thing that I could chew and get down, like say pudding or like applesauce, there was potential that it could get stuck between that part and the roof of my mouth, and I wouldn't be able to get it out unless I like swished around a lot of liquids and everything.
So there
sucked.
there were 3 things that had to be done before I could get braces. The first was I had 4 teeth that needed to be removed,
Same.
and they were not my wisdom teeth.
Technically, I guess I had 8 teeth then, because I had the 4 teeth normal and then the wisdom teeth at the same time.
Yeah, I had the same thing. So I had to get those removed, and then I had to get spacers.
I don't think I got those.
Yeah, which is when they just basically put these little rubber things in between some of your teeth to make sure that there's enough room that they could put like the brackets and everything, and it would make sense.
Hmm.
The third thing I had to do is I had to get a thumb guard, which is very similar to what you were talking about, where they put this thing like behind your front teeth on the like between, basically it kind of covered the roof of the mouth.
Hmm.
Because fun fact, when I was younger, Director, you know this, until around probably 3rd or 4th grade, whenever I got my braces, I sucked my thumb.
I'm so surprised that you got them so young.
It was because my teeth were so bad because I sucked my thumb.
She fucked her son.
I sucked my thumb. Because I sucked my thumb, I had a major overbite, where my front teeth were kind of pointing outwards because the thumb would push them forward as I grew. And so Mom tried a lot of things to get me to stop, but I thwarted her at every turn. There was one time
She
where
didn't
she
try
got
everything.
like
She could have cut off your thumb.
there was one time she got like this plastic cover for my thumb that like would it was kind of like a glove just for my thumb. And so I went around the wrist, and it was really hard to get off. I don't know how even to get it off from like my actual hand itself, because it was like around my wrist and everything, and then it went over my thumb. But if I tried hard enough, and I did, I could force the part that was over my thumb off of my thumb, so I could still suck my thumb.
Well.
I have a vivid memory of hiding in my closet, trying to yank it off of my thumb so I could suck my thumb. But that was the hard part, is because there was the thumb guard, which is like, yeah, this little grill
The thumb
on the top of
guard.
your. That's what it was called.
Yeah, just like it's called. That sounds like a lame superhero team.
on the roof of your mouth. That, like you said, if it could get stuff stuck between the roof of your mouth and it and everything, but it was basically made so that you couldn't get any sort of suction on your thumb, and so it made sucking your thumb pointless and uncomfortable.
Yeah.
So you would be forced to break the habit, and that was not exactly something I could get rid of. So
It's true when they kind of
it did kick the habit.
glue it to your teeth.
There have been times, like every now and then, where I'm like, I have the urge to suck my thumb.
Interesting.
Because it's a comfort thing.
I think
But
I remember
it
I
doesn't-
used to suck my thumb, but
comfortable
I don't think I sucked my thumb nearly as long as you did. It
I sucked my thumb.
It
Yeah, for a very long
probably
time.
ended close to like, I want to say at least either kindergarten or first grade. It was somewhere in there. Probably kindergarten, actually, now that I think about it, if I'm thinking back to that
I
foreign
was
class.
publicly humiliated by my 2nd grade teacher for sucking my thumb.
And yet you still wanted to do it.
I didn't. It became a thing where I didn't suck my thumb at school, but I would still suck it at home.
Take that out of context.
Don't, please. Because my 2nd grade teacher would humiliate me in front of the entire class. I love that teacher at the time. She was my favorite teacher for a while, and now in hindsight, she was a really mean person.
Well,
She was a shitty person.
some teachers
Why
do
did
be
I-
like that.
Why did I like her that much?
Because
I mean, I can probably guess
there was
why.
a bond.
But it was bad. It was, yeah.
I think another, like, if the installing of the braces was that annoying to me at the time, to where it made me really sad and stuff, because I remember, oh my gosh, this is so stupid. I remember this was probably like at least a couple, maybe a week, but at least a couple of days after I actually got the braces installed, because I was really upset, really sad, really annoyed, even though I'm the one that wanted them. But I feel like you don't realize what's gonna happen until you realize what has happened, because
You don't realize the mental toll.
at the same
of-
time, your teeth are always in pain, basically.
It's true. It's
Like,
awful.
It's not just your teeth, it's also just your mouth is always in pain,
Yeah.
essentially. Because it's between the soreness of like the teeth actually moving and then the actual braces like scraping the inside of your mouth is what makes it really bad.
I never had as much of an issue with that, luckily.
I had to get like wax to put onto it.
Oh, I had the wax if I needed it, but I never really needed it.
I remember I needed it a lot along like my canines, because they were in like the worst spot of also like sticking out, because where the bracket was, where it would just hurt so bad. Like I couldn't actually put my mouth, like my face where my mouth was, even when it was closed, on anything, because it would like push into that and it would hurt so bad.
Ugh. Yeah.
But
Ugh.
no, when after I had my braces for a long amount of time, I think it was like 2 years.
How long did you have your braces?
I want to say it was like 2 years.
I had my braces for 4 years.
Yeah, mine weren't apparently that bad. Thank God, I guess. But I think
Both Portillo and I.
well, I don't know if it was it might have been 2.5, but I don't think it ever went past that, because I don't remember having them for that. Well,
Did Portillo get his braces off sooner than me?
was
I
it
honestly
3?
remember.
It was a major. It was like
Look
it-
on Facebook.
it was
I
at
can figure it out based on
least-
Facebook.
I know I had them at least in 9th grade through like probably 11th. Maybe sooner. I don't know. I don't remember. I just remember it was a long enough time, because braces are never a short-term thing.
It's true.
No matter what, they're always going to be there with you for a long time, that you kind of just have to live with. And I don't think every kid is fully aware of how much they live with it until they're living it. Because before, it's like you have a period of before braces, during braces, and then the after braces kind of just fades together. But the thing that happened afterwards is they had to do a permanent retainer in order to make sure that the top and the bottom teeth would stay together in the right formation.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't necessarily know what that, like, I knew what it meant in the terms of like I knew they would put like a metal bar or something, but I didn't realize how much like extra like adhesive, I guess, they were gonna end up using, to the point where it completely like changes how the back of your teeth feel. Because at the time, it was like, it's kind of like when you get your teeth cleaned and you're like, oh my gosh, my teeth feel so different now. It was like that, because I feel like whenever you introduce something new to your mouth and then you suddenly have to deal with it, it feels so weird to you. But having the permanent retainer specifically in the bottom section of my teeth, because on the top, it's just, I think, holding the top 2 main teeth together. But the bottom, it's all the way like 6 teeth that it's holding together. I have to count by feeling with my tongue. But they used enough of the adhesive to where like it made the back of your teeth feel vastly different. Not just like there was
Yeah.
a bar there, but like different surface entirely.
Oh, I know. I have one.
And I remember thinking, so I went through that many years of braces for this? Because now this is stuck in my mouth forever? Because it also is an annoying thing because of how it works, because there's a bar there, both on the top and the bottom, but mainly on the bottom because it connects more teeth. You can't really floss normally because there's a bar. And anytime you actually do try to like run the floss through the teeth where you can get it through, it shreds the floss.
Yeah.
And so not only does it make the floss basically unusable, but then the shredded parts get stuck in your teeth and you have to pull them out. So it's like you've been chewing on a blanket or something. But I think that was the most annoying part that I thought. I mean, it still is annoying to this day in the sense of like, I know that's probably the main problem area whenever I brush my teeth. Because I obviously, after braces, for me at least specifically, I was like, I have made a multi-year long investment basically with my time and pain that these teeth are the way they are right now. And so, because something that I used to do when I was younger is I was a horrid person when it came to brushing my teeth. Like, I would not brush my teeth for weeks at a time. Seriously. And
No, I was the same way. Don't worry. I fully understand.
but unlike
So I'm
you,
looking for
I
pictures.
never got cavities.
I have, even when I brush my teeth and floss perfectly, I still get fucking cavities.
I've never gotten a cavity, and I still have not gotten a cavity to this day. But I brush my teeth way more often now. I brush it every day, every night. And I feel like because of the entirety of the braces thing, that's what made me be like, you have to brush your teeth because you did not go through that much pain and torment for no reason. You have to keep your teeth clean. But even so, that the back part of that permanent retainer, I know is the most annoying part because even I can't get to it. Like, unless I had the water pick that I used to have that I'm pretty sure someone else has now. I don't remember who. But unless I had that, it's not.
I know Grammy had one.
It was
for a
that was
while.
mine.
Yeah.
I can't, that one was given to her. I don't know where it went after that. So I don't know who
either.
has it, but unless I had that, I would not be able to clean out every single bit because it is so, the way that the adhesive is so weird.
So I use interdental picks.
You know,
To flop.
actually, there is, are those kind of like the sticks, but they are like, they have the little rubber brushy bits?
The ones I have aren't rubber brushy, but it's similar. I think the ones that I have that are more of like bristles and everything, they look like a mini like straw brush.
Oh, mine looks like a mini toilet brush, kind of.
I mean, it's it's the similar like idea. It's just thinner and everything. Like I know CVS brand has different sizes depending on how small the spaces in between your teeth are. Like there's, hold on, I have to count now. I have 5 areas that need an interdental pick. 4 of them are like they have decent space, but there's one that is a lot smaller. And I get
it's never
the
even how
smallest
they
size.
do it. I don't understand.
Yeah. So I have to get specifically a thinner one to make sure I can get in between there. But that's how I floss there, because that's the only way I kind of can. Because I absolutely hate having to use like that little loopy thing, like put the floss in.
yeah.
First off, I hate flossing normally. I use floss picks because I hate wrapping it around my fingers and then having to like reach into my mouth.
You
to
don't like
frickin'
reaching into your
floss?
mouth?
No. And I absolutely hate using those looping things for the same reason. So I just don't use normal floss. I use floss picks, and then I get interdental picks.
Because I know
So-
I it's probably the same thing, but just like a different brand or something. I got some recently that I haven't used yet, which I probably should at least try and use, where they kind of look like tiny little toilet brushes, but they're miniature.
Yeah.
And they're not plastic on the end, they're kind of like a rubbery. So it's a bit more like malleable, I guess. So it feels less rough to like try and get in between places. And they're same to like the floss picks, where you just use it one time and then you can throw it away. But,
Well, the ones that I have specifically are not sold in as big of a pack because they are meant to be used a few times.
well, if they're plastic, that would make sense.
Yeah, I can, hold on. Let me find a picture for you.
Also, Hide, you know what? Okay, Hide, I know exactly what kind of frames I see you in, and you're not gonna like it. Because I see you in Bayonetta glasses frame. I feel like that's what you would wear. I feel like that's
So-
what suits you.
This is kind of what you're talking about, right? What you got?
Yeah.
So it's the ones that I have are similar, but they are more like this.
That looks like a straw cleaner.
I told you, yeah. But they have like they come with like this little cap that you can put on them, and it's specifically so you can use it more than once.
Uh-huh.
If you don't floss very regularly and you have a lot of buildup, I don't recommend using them more than once because I think that's a little gross. But you can use them more than once. And so I use the same one for like a week and then I change it out.
I would be scared of like hurting my gums.
They aren't. They look like they're made out of wire in this picture. They aren't made out of wire. They're these like bristles type thing. Next time you come over, I will give you
You'll
one
do
of my
it to me.
unused. No, I was gonna give you one of my unused ones so you could use it.
But then also, I love how in the first pic, it's like, oh yeah, once you start using these, you'll have white teeth from this. That's how
That's
it
what
works.
it looks like. I've gotten the rubber ones before. One, they are usually too thick to go in between that really tight space.
Mhm.
And it feels like they just don't grab anything. It feels like they don't clean it out.
I feel like
I get a lot cleaner with the brushy ones.
I would definitely need to try, because in my mind, I would assume it's less of a brush to like get dislodged stuff and more of a like kind of push through situation because of how small the ones I'm thinking of are supposed to be. But again, I would have to see if it would even fit.
I thought it was supposed to be kind of a case where just like kind of like flosses where you're supposed to get the plaque that's in between. Or like
I'm pretty sure.
yeah, so I that's why I feel like this one works better because they're rougher, they're pointier and rougher bristles.
But
they don't hurt.
I know for a fact that comparatively, like when I get teeth cleanings and everything, typically
I don't know, such a wild tangent.
it's not that long in terms of like it takes a lot of effort because like I said, I brush my teeth like but at the same time the main thing is literally just that bottom part area.
Yeah, that's the most annoying part. It is the worst.
Also, okay, Hide, different side tangent. You know, as we're talking about dentistry, the glasses that I see you in, maybe not specifically Bayonetta glasses, but the same kind of frame type, where I see you with those like thin librarian glasses, you know, because they make
Where
you,
you can-
because you would
where
be,
you can
you would
look
be
over
serving,
judgmentally.
you know, and it would definitely be some kind of designer brand, for sure, because it just suits you, you know.
According to Facebook, I got my braces off in 2016.
Now I have to look. Because, and as per usual, I'm assuming, is it you who posted or is it your mom who posted?
Mom.
Exactly. It's always the mother that posts about this
Yeah.
stuff. Hold on, I have to see. I don't know how far back I'm gonna have to go. I just know that for a very, very long time, like a majority, I would say, at least in the beginning part of my braces, not career, journey, I was very sad. And I have this very vivid memory that because I felt like I couldn't not only speak properly, but I also felt like I couldn't really eat things because my teeth were always hurting. I had this like whole breakdown moment in my room where I had to like get over it and try and make the best of what the situation was. And I started like singing a Japanese song to be like my speech therapy to get me to start using my S's in a different way. It was really weird and traumatic. It's similar to your entire thumb story of just a random vivid memory you have.
Oh, I did post about it. Yeah. No, it's. I feel you. I have a memory of getting my braces tightened, and going to school and having like a full breakdown at lunch because I couldn't eat anything because it hurt too much.
Yeah. I feel like that's
And then
the main
developing the
thing.
way of eating by using the back teeth to grind it up instead.
Yeah, the main thing that always ends up happening is like, at least when you first get braces, you have to basically figure out how the fuck to eat from now on. Because it not only changes how you eat, but it also changes when you can eat. Because
Yeah.
at certain times of day, it also feels different.
Yeah.
Or God forbid, right after an appointment where they tighten your wire, and then suddenly you feel like dying again.
Yeah.
Because then your mouth is killing you.
Okay, I lied. It was not 4 years. It was 2.5 years.
I'm trying to find the original post. Because I know.
Do you still wear your retainer?
Yes. When
I don't.
I try to wear my retainer as much as possible. Granted, I don't know if that necessarily helps, but I also, here's the thing. I was really worried for a long ass time that if I didn't wear my retainer, it was going to completely change how the top teeth look, because I only have a top retainer. But at the end of the day, I don't think it changes that much. And also, I remember I was so scared also to like lose my retainer, because I don't know if you ever got this spiel, but like when I got my braces off and they like made the mold, because that's when they make the mold for the retainer.
Mm-hmm.
They were like, if you ever lose this or it ever breaks, it's gonna cost like $300 for you to get a new one.
They probably told me how much it would cost. I don't remember how much it would cost though.
And I remember I was always terrified that I was going to break it or lose it, because I did not want to have to get that replaced. But at the same time, I've had this retainer now since I got my braces off years ago, and I feel like it needs to be replaced.
Oh yeah, I mean, I haven't worn my retainer for years now, and I have a little bit of an overbite again, but I don't think it's that bad. I don't think it's noticeable really. But I have lost my retainer. I don't know where the fuck my retainer is. I remember there was a time a few years ago where I tried wearing my retainer again. It was making my teeth hurt so badly that I was like, I'm okay. I'm good.
Well, that just means that's how far your teeth have fallen.
And I'm okay with that. If I really wanted to get my teeth back like perfectly straight, I would get like a Invisalign or something like that. I would not get full-on braces again.
Did you say you got your braces off in 2016?
Yes.
I got mine on in 2016.
Ah.
And then from
Yeah,
then,
I got mine a lot earlier than
It
yours.
was probably at least until 2018-ish, in that range, that I got them off, because I don't see when I got them off, but I see when I got them on. But yeah, basically majority of high school. And that should tell you enough. Because I used to
I
know
had mine
people.
for the entirety of middle school.
That's the thing. I used to know people even back in elementary school who had braces. And I was
Yeah.
like, wow.
I was one of those
weird.
people.
And meanwhile, I got them way later. Because that's the thing. I got like a mix of, I got the tooth strength of my mother, because she also for the longest time had never had a cavity until like she was like older. And then I got the poor alignment of my father to where my teeth look bad. Specifically my bottom teeth.
Yeah. Just have really bad, like, have you heard or like do you know about the entire thing where it's like you have one thing about your body that is perfectly fine, and like no matter what happens it's always fine?
I've never heard of that. I
Do you
always
have
say
something like that?
my skinny wrists, because they are the only thing that stays consistent.
Because I would always say it was I would not say it anymore, but I would always say it was my hair. Because I didn't, like, I don't even remember why I said it was my hair. But I would always say it was my hair. My stepmom would always say it was her teeth because she never got cavities or anything.
You would have skinny wrists, Hide. It fits your
Yeah.
character arc.
It does.
It's true, we've never seen it. Send a wrist pic. Send a wrist pic in the pod chat. We want to see.
Wrist pick, wrist pick, wrist pick.
I mean, to be fair, while my teeth weren't straight, I am thankful for the fact that my teeth never got cavities, even when I was basically abusing them.
Oh yeah, cavities fucking suck.
So I've heard.
I mean, okay, I've never had the experience of having a cavity where it like, you remember like that episode of Orange High School Host Club, where Honey gets a cavity
I
and
think
they
so.
make it seem like the worst thing that
Well,
could
that's
happen.
also because that's an anime.
I know,
So.
but I've never had. But I've also heard people talk about how like it hurts to have a cavity. I've never. Maybe it's just because I have sensitive teeth, in general.
You're just like, my life is pain. Like
My life is like I don't notice if I have a cavity. I cannot tell because I don't get the pain from it.
Uh-huh.
But I hate one cavity. To fill a cavity, it's fucking expensive,
Yeah.
even with insurance.
Don't even get me started on root canals. That's a separate thing.
Mom has gotten a root canal. She said it was the worst experience of her life.
It's worse than cavities.
Yeah. I hate needles. I hate especially needles in my mouth. I hate most things in my face area to begin with. So when they numb you, they stick a needle in your face. It's awful.
In your mouth.
And then
It's not in your face.
still and then they have to do the freaking like drilling and stuff. Like it's just bad. And then your face is not like half of your face is numb depending on where your cavity is.
Yeah.
It's just, for me, it's always been my bottom teeth that have always had cavities. So it's usually a case of my entire bottom jaw is just completely numb. And so it feels weird to talk. I will bite my cheek and my tongue constantly if I try to eat anything.
Mm-hmm.
To be fair, I'll bite my cheek either way.
To be fair,
But
she'll bite anything.
I don't know if you do this, because I do it a lot. If I bite my cheek and then suddenly there's a part where I can keep biting it, I will keep biting it until it's kind of like there's just a hole in my
A
cheek now.
wound?
Yeah. And one of the things is that when your face is numb, you don't feel it, so you go a lot deeper.
Oh dear God.
So
No,
anesthesia costs even more heating.
I feel like it hurts too much. It like, in my mind, if I ever bite my cheek on accident, like on the side bit, I feel like it hurts too much for me to even want to do anything around it. So if anything, I'm like avoiding even chewing over there.
Yeah, no, not me. I just chew more.
Like the furthest I go is like, I have I don't, would you call it a tick? I don't know. I have a habit where I like chew on the front part of my mouth, like where my lip is.
That's fair.
But that's
I do that
about
too.
it.
I chew on that area too. Do you ever, when you feel the side of your cheek,
Oh,
the
God.
inside of your cheek,
Here we go.
when you feel the inside of your cheek, is it smooth?
Typically, yeah.
Mine is not.
Well, what do you mean smooth? Like, I feel indentations, but that's just where my teeth are.
Does it feel like the same texture all the way from the front to the back?
For the most part.
Yeah, mine does not. Mine very clearly does not. There are rough patches and everything.
Maybe it's
I
because
have,
those
like-
are scars where you bit your cheek.
Oh, yeah.
open.
Duh. They are.
Because I've never gotten that far. But also, I guess this could be something that I'm thankful for in terms of like something that I've never gotten that everyone else in my family gets, is canker sores.
Oh, I get canker sores tons.
Because I know Yoshi gets them a lot, my mom gets them a lot. And like, I think I've gotten them maybe 2 or 3 times I can even remember in my entire lifetime.
Let me make sure I know what a canker sore is.
It's like that thing that forms close to the front of your teeth or something.
Okay, I don't get them that often. I've gotten them sometimes, but I don't get them often, surprisingly.
But yeah.
I hate them when I do get them. But
But I don't get them what seemingly is like genetically. comparatively. But yeah,
One thing Portillo would do when we were younger is
bite your cheek open.
he has something called map tongue.
I don't know what that means.
It is a condition. It's just a random like kind of it's harmless condition that makes the texture of your tongue look weird.
Sure.
Like if you just look up map tongue, you can see a bunch of examples of it.
I don't know if I want to.
But he would stick his tongue out at me and show me it, and I hated it growing up. I thought it was the grossest thing I've ever seen. It was awful. Cause I don't have map tongue. He does, but
I'm seeing
he didn't have like the
wildly
swirly.
different things.
Yeah, no, it apparently it varies. I've never seen the swirl. He didn't have the swirl. He had more of like where it looks like a random piece of meat type of thing.
A random piece of meat?
Where it looks like brain tissue almost. Where it looks like it's wrinkly and everything.
That's nice.
So
Oh my gosh,
does it
Rose.
Rose, does it? What do you like why do you have to be careful with what you eat?
You have to ask a question.
Why do you have to be careful with what you eat?
Well, I would imagine because
Because I know Portillo is not careful with what
Well,
he
that's
eats.
the thing. With this version that you were talking about, it seemingly looks like it makes ridges more. So, like, you could get stuff stuck in the ridges.
Do you have an issue with waiting for things to cool down before you eat them?
Everyone does.
Do they?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think I'm more smart about it now, but I still burn my
I'm
mouth
not.
sometimes.
I fully
I don't fully commit.
I make a thing of like pizza or something like that. I don't wait for it to cool down. I just immediately pop it into my mouth and like regret life because suddenly the roof of my mouth is completely burnt.
Well, sometimes I make a good judgment call, and sometimes I don't. Regardless, I have to live with the consequences. But
Sometimes maybe
the
pizza,
only
sometimes maybe
things that change is when you burn the roof of your mouth. And typically, it's not necessarily like the roof, it's more like the behind your front teeth. At least it is for me. Like if I
It varies.
bite into something really hot, it typically just end up burning like right behind my front teeth. So at this point, I feel like that part of skin in my mouth has shed skin so many times because of how many times I've burnt it over the years. Because after like you sleep for the night, when you wake up the next morning, it sheds off, and you basically have to take it out of your mouth.
Oh, I haven't had that experience.
That's what every time that I burn my mouth, I always end up having it to where like it hurts and it's like numb for that night, but then I go to sleep and I wake up and it doesn't hurt, but it's more like on the healing side, but the excess like dead skin that basically got killed, it not flakes off because it's wet, so it's kind of like wet paper, I guess, and you kind of just have to like nudge it off of your mouth.
Yeah, I've never had like that peeling. At least I don't think. Maybe it's subconsciously. I mean, maybe I burn my tongue more than I burn my mouth then?
Yeah.
Because
What about
I've
dead
had
taste
it where
buds?
I don't know. What?
Have you never had them? Like
Explain.
Okay, so you would feel it on your tongue, first of all, duh. But it would also be a situation where, like, if you were to rub your tongue on any part of your mouth or like your teeth or anything, it would feel like sore, like that specific spot on your tongue.
I'll get that like if I eat a lot of sour candy or something.
Well, no, because it's not like a generalized area, if that makes sense. It's like a very specific spot on your tongue.
Then I don't. I feel like I have before, because I think I have, or maybe I am wrong. But I mean, I've had a time where it's like there's like a bump or something on my tongue.
Because I've had dead taste buds before where because it kind of is just like an annoying soreness or something that lasts for a bit, but then eventually like the taste bud goes away. But I've had it to the point where like it wasn't going away and I was getting really annoyed, so I pulled out the taste bud with some tweezers.
Oh, I think, yeah, no, I don't know if it's ever hurt, but I think I know what you're
necessarily
talking
that it
about.
hurts, but it's more like annoying, if that makes sense.
Yes,
'Cause
I've
you
had
can
that
feel
before.
it.
I've had that before.
Ooh,
Where
but also, I don't know if it was infected or if it was just like swollen or something was going on. But I remember I've had before, like the salivary glands that are underneath your tongue, like one of them was like clogged up or something, and it actually
What?
kind of hurt.
What?
But it was only on one side, and so it was more swollen comparative to the right side, and it eventually went away. But I don't know what happened. I don't know.
What?
Because like if you were to feel like under your tongue right now, like on the left and the right side of the bottom part of your mouth,
Yeah.
can you feel like the ridge kind of on both sides?
Mm-hmm.
Like if you go all the way back, that's typically where the salivary glands are. Like that's where you see people spitting from, essentially, like with their mouths. In the sense of like, if you've ever seen people where they have like a spit reflex where it like literally squirts out of their mouth, that's where it's coming from. But I've had like one of those specifically, not both at the same time, but I've had one of those where like something happened and it got like clogged or something, and it like swelled up a bit and it was sore. And I don't know how it happened, but
I've never experienced that.
and yeah, if the taste bud really bothers you that much, you can just pull it out with a pair of tweezers. Because you can typically, if it's specifically an infected taste bud and you can feel where it is, you can also see where it is. I've even had to the point where I didn't use tweezers. I literally pinned the taste bud, because at a certain point it's dead. I pinned the taste bud between two of my teeth and I yanked it.
Jesus Christ.
Because I was like, I don't have tweezers and my fingers won't work for this, so I just need to get it out. You gotta be resourceful. Okay, what can I say? It's okay, Hide. Also, you still have not sent us a wrist pic. I'm saying it now. Rose wants to see the wrist pic too. I know she does. With her map tongue. See, that's Rose agreeing with me. Anyways. We've been going on for longer than we should.
Did you have a theme for
I did,
tonight?
and we never got to it. I even have tabs open related to it, and we never talked about it because we kept talking about other stuff. So, yeah. Anyways.
Love, so who knows?
You won't know. Because the next episode is going to be about Christmas anyways. So.
Well, for the new year.
That might just be about New Year, honestly. We'll see.
Our
Anyways.
New Year's resolutions.
God, no. Those get annoying. I already have my resolutions. I made them before the New Year. That's my semi-sweet Kester Dream Bod list.
Oh, that's what that is.
And that's not just for the New Year. It's just for a it's a step plan process. Anyways.
It's your 1 year plan.
It's more than 1 year.
It's your 5 year plan.
It's less than 5 years.
It's your 2 year plan.
Don't worry, we'll get into the specifics of what Sarah bought from the masseuse.
No.
So thank you all for coming. Thank you all for watching. And we'll see y'all later. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.